Welcome to Atlanta. Christ, this Officer 5000, Jeremiah, the camp leader of Atlanta. Passover 2025, starting April the 9th, we got the lamb slaughter. April the 10th, we got General Muhammad's flag. April the 11th, we got the black party that's going to have the Hebrew graduation. April the 12th, in Atlanta, Georgia, the 56th annual Passover, the only Passover under Commander Junior Hunter.
Our great and holy King has honored us for turning our lives from the darkness to the light, man. There's no greater gift you can receive than to wake up to the truth and then commit your life to saving your brothers, man. Looking in their eyes and seeing their faces and seeing what they've suffered and what they've gone through and seeing the end of it, man. It is a guaranteed seat in the kingdom of heaven, man. So in the name of our King Yahushua, we dedicate us another Passover of brothers and sisters' lives being saved.
April the 13th, we got the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Shalom.
It's that time of year again. It's the 56th annual Passover, man. You know what that means. It's time for you sisters to get your corsages. You want a brother like this?
So I guess if I could get a general breakdown of Matthew 5 and 22.
Straight to your body, I know that it's smoke.
If one of these brothers piques your interest, sisters, y'all need to go ahead and buy one of those white corsages for $10. Yes, only $10, man. And you only need to tap in with your camp leader to get it. But how can you be chosen if they don't know to look and come and talk to you, come and pull up on you? So go ahead and cop your white corsage today.
Right when I hit the door.
If you want these world famous heroes and soldiers to come and holler at you, how they gonna do that without a white corsage? Or if one of these men are your husband, go ahead and grab a red corsage.
Let's go a couple more rounds.
Shalom. You did your 6 months and you want to get married out here? We got brothers for you. Nice, hard-working brothers who are ready to take your hand in marriage and make you an honorable woman. Tap in with your camp leader for more detail.
Straight to your body, I know that it's smoky. You know, I've been sipping on potion. You gon' ride that slow motion.
Shalom. This is to all Israelite groups and all Israelite communities and all breakoffs from One West and breakoffs from breakoffs from breakoffs from breakoffs. No matter what rainbow uniform you wear, red, white, purple and white, all white, it don't matter. You should all treat the ISUPK like your weird, misunderstood Sabbaths. You shouldn't do anything until you counsel with the ISUPK. We'll tell you when and what to eat. We'll tell you who to marry. We'll tell you who to have sex with and how. We'll tell you how to resolve conflicts with your wives. We'll tell you how to resolve conflicts with your kids, your brothers, your sisters, your parents, your friends, everybody. We'll tell you when and how to pray. We'll tell you how to direct your life in a way that's pleasing to the Most High God of Israel and our Black King Yahushua, aka Jesus Christ. We will be to you instead of a God. Just like the Most High told Moses in Exodus 4:16 that Aaron would be to him instead of a mouth and he would be to Aaron instead of a God, that's what we'll do for you. It is what you all need because none of you know what the fuck you are doing. I pray you understand. Shalom.
Shalom, Israel. Salaki, let me get my camera right. There we go. All right. Shalom, Israel, which is Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Start out of 1 West on the 25th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander General Yohana. This is the Friday Night Lashawan Qadash class, where, as usual, we break down the scriptures from a linguistics perspective, which is something that your Christian pastor is ill-equipped to do. And because he's ill-equipped to do it, we fail to realize that the things that's in this Bible are our culture. The people in this Bible are us. And the things that this Bible teaches has nothing to do with what your Christian church teaches. A big part of the confusion, the big part of the confusion and the disbelief that we are, in fact, the 12 lost tribes of the nation of Israel is, not having an understanding of the language. So certain things aren't as clear to us. Aside from, the obvious fact that your Christian pastor are just liars. But aside from that, once you leave that Christian church, what you'll find is Salakia. As I pull up but what you'll find as we leave that Christian church, if you don't come into the ISUPK, you find yourself just taking Christianity with you. You thought you left that Christian church and then you join these other Israelite groups, IUIC and Sakari. And then you go up in there and then you find out that they're just as sexual deviants, just as much sexual deviants and LGBTQ members and, breakers of the law as the Christian church. You leave the Christian church and you say you become a Muslim. What you'll find is that the Muslims are just as deviant and just as devious as the Christian church is. And that's because aside from the lies, one second, Salaki, I'm trying to multitask, but aside from the lies that your Christian pastors and your Muslim imams and things like that tell, you'll also find that without actually learning your culture, without actually understanding that the culture of the Israelites belongs to Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, who are the 12 lost tribes. Going back into those records and looking at the story of Moses, which we've been reading for the past couple of weeks, looking at the story of Christ, looking at the story of King David and King Solomon and all the prophets and the apostles and the people in the Bible. If you can't look at those and see yourself, not just see yourself in them like the Christian church does, but actually understand that these were you, these people were you, then there's always going to be that disconnect. And especially if you don't come into ISUPK and learn your culture and identity, you're just going to take Christianity with you wherever you go. Nowadays we done lost so much faith in this Bible. We'll leave the Christian church and we'll just be spiritual. Where we know that there is a higher power. There is a higher power, but because we've been lied to so much and no one taught us that this was our culture in this Bible, that the language belonged to us, that the stories, for lack of a better word, the stories in this Bible were historical document or historical records of us. I mean, and our family, because nobody taught us those things. It's hard for us to make that connection and, claim this culture and come back to our culture. But that's the difference between us and the Christian church. So that's why we do this class. That's why we do this class every Friday from 7 to 9, depending on what time zone you're in. I believe it's 7 to 9. But that's why we do this class, so that we can get a full 360 scope of what our culture is. And with that being said, we'll go ahead and share my screen again. With that being said, go ahead and put your questions, comments in the chat. Salakia. Again, I'm multitasking, so forgive me if I'm a little slow. As a matter of fact, as I'm pulling on my screen, make sure you got your learning utensils and things like that in front of you. Make sure you got your books, your resources, your learning resources, your learning all the things. Salakia. Make sure you got all your learning utensils and things like that you're gonna need, and ask any of your questions in the chat. All right. I'm gonna just do a real quick check. Salakia. Give me just 1 second. I just want to see something real quick. Bear with me 1 second. But as I'm setting up, make sure you prepare your questions. You should ask all your questions. Make sure you ask all your questions during class, so that you can get your questions answered thoroughly. You know what I mean? So we can do all the things, go through all the resources, give you all the examples, and all the things that you might need, so that you can completely understand. Because again, this is your language. Right now we speak our oppressor's language, but the whole goal is for us to be able to, to be able to have a conversation in Hebrew. All right. So make sure you get all your questions, the comments in, and make sure you get prepared. We're gonna get started here in just a second. Salakia. I just want to see something real quick. I'll go ahead and mute my mic. Salakia. All right, so that was just a little test. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna send this link. I'm gonna just send this link, and anybody that wants to join, bear with me. All right. So I just sent that link out. I mean, to the brothers, and if any sister wants to, any sister or any brother in the chat wants to join the link and ask any questions or anything like that, just let me know, and I'm trying to keep some of these weirdos out of the live. You know what I mean? So, but if you want the link, I don't have a problem sharing it. But I know there are some weirdos out there that just want to, you know what I mean? Which, you know what I mean? I ain't got a problem with, you know what I mean, a battle or a debate or whatever the case is. But if you're a sincere brother or sister that just wants to get up in the chat and ask any questions or participate in the class tonight, then I'll just, you know what I mean, put it in let me know in the chat and I'll put it in the chat. Other than that, brothers in the zones, in the surrounding zones, the surrounding zones should have the link, and brothers should be able to jump in. Let me see. Forgive me, Salaki. Give me 1 second. All right. With that, all right. So the title of the class, right, is "Don't Forget What You Know." All right. I just shortened something that Captain Kataza and several other brothers have said, and it stuck with me. I mean, when I was a trooper, a young man, a young officer in the ISUPK, well, they would always say, "Don't forget what you know, trying to learn something new." I mean, and that's kind of the downfall of these Christian churches. That's kind of the downfall of just learning in general, like not even, you know, I mean, from a religious perspective, just learning in general. We tend to, as we trying to learn things, we tend to forget what we already know, trying to learn something new, and that kind of jams us up and makes learning in general tedious. So something just like the men above me, I just want to reiterate, like they did for me, I want to reiterate for those that may be watching, to never forget what you already know, trying to learn something new. All right. With that being said, these classes, these Lashawan Qadash classes, are repetitious. I mean, just like any other class. If you're a young officer, or like even when you're a young officer teaching a scripture breakdown class or a brotherhood or a law class or whatever the case is, you're just teaching what's already been taught. Same with the Lashawan Qadash. It's no different. I know it could be a little intimidating, or I know it could be a little uncomfortable to learn a whole different language and then now have to teach that language. But it's just like any other class. You're just teaching what's already been taught, right? And then reading the Hebrew during Sabbath service. Reading the Hebrew during Sabbath service, it's the same thing. It's gonna be a little bit what's the word? It's gonna be a little bit different to speak, because we used to speak in our person's language. We used to speak in Spanish. We used to speak in English, or whatever variation of our person's language that we speak. So speaking Hebrew might be just a little bit uncomfortable at first. It might be a little bit uncomfortable at first, but as you get used to speaking it, as you get used to reading it, you're gonna find that you're gonna run into the same concepts over and over. All right, and we're gonna go over a couple of those concepts tonight, and that's usually how Lashawan Qadash goes. How the Lashawan Qadash class goes. We just going over the same concepts that we've gone over. Salakia. We just going over the same concepts that we've gone over in past classes. The only difference is, well, sometimes we'll go into a lesson that's tailored around that particular concept. Other times we'll just go into Bible Hub, or I prefer Bible Hub, but you can also use Blue Letter Bible. It'll have the Hebrew and English right next to each other, side by side. Some brothers like that better. Some brothers like Bible Hub better. Either one can, you can use, but some classes will go into those specific concepts, and we'll just drill them over and over to get them on our belt. Lately, for the past couple of weeks, unless somebody has a specific question on a specific concept, we've been just going into the scriptures, reading it in the Hebrew, and then being able to identify these concepts. All right. And this is the part, this is why I titled the class, Don't Forget What You Already Know, trying to learn something new, because this is where brothers get jammed up, where you've been learning these concepts for the past couple weeks, for the past couple months, for the past couple years, depending on how long you've been here. And then when it's time to read the Hebrew and you see these concepts in your face, some of us have a hard time being able to identify them. And, for one reason or another. And what you got to realize is all of these concepts are just the same thing over and over and over again. And I'm gonna just show you as we go through it. All right. So let me enlarge my screen real quick. Again, as we go through, if you got any questions or comments, just make sure you put it in the chat, and we can, if there's any concept that's unfamiliar to you, or you have a hard time identifying, or if there's anything that you get confused, like sometimes I'll get one concept confused for another, or or whatever the case is. If you have any trouble with any particular concept, you go ahead and put it in the chat, ask that question, and then we can go into that particular concept to make sure it's crystal clear. So now you just added another thing that might not have been as strong on your belt. You know what I mean? Now you just added another concept that you're strong in and identifying. And that's going to help you be able to read, speak, and write the Hebrew. All right. Let me see. Let me make sure. All right. So as usual, 1 second. So as usual, slack you. All right, as usual, the difference between Friday Lashawan Qadash class and Saturday Sabbath service is Saturday we're reading the Hebrew straight through, and then we read the English afterwards, and then we do the breakdown of the English. But for Friday Lashawan Qadash, we can read it in the English, get a little bit of the context, and that'll be helpful for brothers trying to identify those concepts. So, for example, that'll help you be able to not only identify like sight words. So you'll see the word like heaven in the scriptures. The word Shemayim will be in there, which means heaven in Hebrew. Or you'll see earth, and you'll see the word when you go to Hebrew. That you should be looking out for the word Aratazah, because Aratazah is earth in Hebrew. So that'll help you kind of. It'll save you some time and not having to stumble or hone in on certain words because you already know them, because they're sight words, because we see them so often. But also, if you pay attention to words that either have an ing in it, you see a word with an ing in it, you can maybe look out for a doing tense, which will be a y character in the middle. Or you might see a plural like trees, or let me think of an example. That you should be, or if you see that pluralization tense, you should be on the lookout for yum at the end of a word or phrase indicating plural, or waf depending on the context, or I believe the character tha at the end of a word, depending on the context. But just things like that. If you look out for things like that, past tense, right? So I believe in the Killeen school, it's like I don't have the board from the school with me. But if you're in the school in the Killeen zone, Next time you're in class, you can look at that board, or it should be just be in your notes. It should be in your notes at this point, especially, you know what I mean? It's been on the board for the past couple months. So if you see a certain part of the scriptures that goes in the past tense, you should be looking for those conjugations that's on that board at home. All right. So just reading it in English, when you see certain things like that, it'll just help you be able to pull out some of those concepts that you should already be expecting to see. So then when you read it in the Lashawan Qadash, then you can just identify them off the rip. And you don't have to think so hard. You don't have to and that's how you keep from forgetting what you already know, trying to learn something new, because sometimes you might see something new. You might see a new concept in the scriptures as we read it, and that's where your questions will come from. But to alleviate the confusion or forgetting what you already know, to alleviate that confusion and forgetting what you already know, you just read it in English and then pull out those concepts. Pull out what you already know from what you read in English, and then look for it in the Hebrew. And then if you don't see it in the Hebrew, then you can just ask, well, why isn't it there? And you'll probably just see it, but if you don't see it, you can just ask, why isn't it worded like this, or why is it? And sometimes, like, because word for word or translations from one language to another doesn't always translate like how we speak today. But nonetheless, if it's not written exactly how you read it in English, like as far as the wording, then we can see why that is, or compare the differences. Right. Give y'all just a second to. So we're gonna be in Exodus chapter 16 and verse 14. We're gonna go ahead and get Bible Hub out. Go to the interlinear section and go to the book, chapter, and verse that we're gonna be in, and it'll have the English underneath in the red, and then you'll see the Hebrew characters in the black. That's what we're gonna be reading from. I'll give y'all just a hot second to get to it, and then I'm gonna read it in English, and then we're gonna read it. I'm gonna read it straight through in the Hebrew, and then we're gonna go back and break it down phrase by phrase. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and read it. Let me see if I get on the screen real quick before I get started. See if I can find a good one. All right, here we go. All right, share this tab. All right, should be able to see my screen. Let me see. Screen share audio. Okay. All right, that shouldn't be a problem. All right. Again, we're gonna get started here in a second. Again, we're gonna read it in English. It should be on the screen on your end. And while we wait and just read, we're gonna be starting at 14. But what I would do is start a couple verses above and read maybe a couple verses past it as well. And while we're waiting, just read through the English, and pick out some of the sight words that you see off top, like off the top of your head, and write them down. Write them down in the English, and write them down in the Hebrew. I advise brothers and sisters to have a running list of sight words, so that when you see them in the future, then you can start to add them to your memory and your vocabulary, so that when you see them in the future, you don't have to think so much or spend so much time fumbling through it. All right. So while we're waiting, just go through the English, see what words you can pick out in the English, and translate them into the Hebrew, and see how many words you can get. We'll give you about, what time is it? 8:40. We'll give you till about 8:45. All right. Go through go through real quick and see what English words you can pick out and translate into Hebrew. See how many you can get up to from verse 12 and verse 16. All right, I'm going to put it in the chat just to remind brothers. All right, so I'm gonna just read it. I'm gonna just read it through. We still got about 2 minutes left. I'm gonna just read it through, and we gonna go through it together in just a second and see how many. Use these next 2 minutes to see how many you could get through, how many words you could translate from English to Hebrew. There's a couple of them actually in here that you should be able to translate from the top of your head. But we're gonna see how many we can get, how many you get written down. And then we go start with the breakdown. You want it back? All right. All right, let me see. All right. So Locky, let me do. There we go. All right, let me know if y'all can still see that. All right, let me see what time it is. All right, 8:45. So that should be plenty of time. That should be plenty of time for brothers to be able to go through and pick out the sight words. All right. I'm going to just read it in English, all right? Then we're going to go back, pick out these sight words. All right, so Exodus chapter 16 and verse 12. I have heard the murmurings of the children of Israel. Speak unto them, saying, at even ye shall eat flesh, and in the morning ye shall be filled with bread. Ye shall know that I am the Lord your God. All right. Verse 13, and it came to pass that at even the quails came up and covered the camp. And in the morning the dew lay round about the host. 14, and when the dew lay, and when the dew that lay was going up, behold, the face of the wilderness, there lay a small round thing, as small as the hoar frost on the ground. 15, and when the children of Israel saw it, they said one to another, it is manna, for they wist not what it was. And Moses said unto them, this is the bread which the Lord hath given you to eat. 16, this is the thing which the Lord hath commanded. Gather of it even every man according to his eating, and omer for every man, according to the number of your persons. Take ye every man for them which are in his tents. All right, we're going to stop right there. And just off the top of my head, right? Just as an example. And I recommend, this exercise, all those that was able to participate, or, even if you're not watching this class live, I recommend still participating and doing this on your own as well. Just, what's going on? I recommend doing this on your own as well. Just, especially right before Lashawan Qadash class or during Lashawan Qadash class, just see how many words you can just pick out. That's the point of reading, and that's the advantage of reading the Hebrew before we go into the English. Right? It's being able to read the English, not only get the context, but pick out some of these sight words. So again, when we go into the Hebrew, we know what words we should at least expect to see. And the more sight words you can add to your vocabulary, the easier reading the Hebrew is going to be. All right, so I'm going to go back to the English, and I'm going to read it again. And I'm going to just, every sight word, I'm going to just stop and just translate it in Hebrew. All right, and this is a perfect example of not forgetting what you already know, because these sight words are words that we've seen before, spoken before, written down before, used as examples before in previous classes, and concepts that we've seen before. And we just gonna pick them out, right? So I have heard, so I is either anya, or it'll be the preposition I, right? So we should expect to see that somewhere in the Lashawan Qadash when we read it in Bible Hub. All right, so anya, or I, the character I before the phrase. Heard, the murmurings. The is the preposition ha. All right, you'll see that before, most likely before the word murmurings. And also at the end of the Hebrew word for murmur, you'll see the pluralization tense, which is 9 times out of 10 going to be yum. If not, it might be wath, or it might be tha, the character tha at the end, or it might have nothing at the end, which makes it a irregular plural, irregular pluralization, something that you don't see as common as yum or wath. Mostly yum, because that's the one we use the most, but those are just all the ways that you would pluralize a word. All right. Of the children is, I believe children is yalad or lad. So instead of yalad, it'll probably say ha to say the, and then lad to say children or child, and then yum. The same way with the previous word, it'll have that yum at the end to pluralize, or some variation of all the different ways to pluralize. One of those ways. All right, so it'll be haladium 9 times out of 10. Now again, I'm not looking. I don't want people to think I'm taking a peek at the Hebrew. I just want to make it very clear. I'm reading in English, and because of what I already know about the Hebrew, I'm going back to what I already know. I'm making a guess based on what I already know, and so that I can prepare myself for what I'm gonna see, because I'm gonna see one of these concepts, whether it's yum, whether it's wath, whether it's the thought at the end to pluralize, or it might be nothing at the end. But I'm going to see one of those concepts. But I'm for sure going to see that root word. Unless there's a different root word that's not as commonly used for any of these root words that I'm saying. But the most common, I'm just saying the most common root word for what we're dealing with. Let me go back. All right, the children of Israel. We already know, we should at least know. You know what I mean? By now, if you've been in, if you've been in the ISUPK for quite some time, you know what I mean? I think the first day in the ISUPK, the first thing you learn that the name of Israel is Yasharallah, right? Speak, I believe, is Debar. Yeah, speak. I not to be mixed with, or not to be confused with the word for say. Say is a different word. Say is amar, is to say. Speak is Debar. Say is amar. All right. Speak unto. You'll probably just see the prefix for to, or actually Salakia, the root word all. Not to be confused with the word Allah for God, but all, pronounce all to say to. So speak. So Debar all, them. I believe the root word for, to be honest, off the top of my head, I can't remember the root word for them. But we'll see. We'll see it in Bible Hub. I know to jog my memory. All right, saying. Now remember, we said speak was Debar. Speak was Debar, and as I'm saying this too, you know what I mean. Make sure you Make sure you writing down these root words and these examples. I know I'm going through it. I might be going through it just a little bit quick. Salakia. I know I'm about to be going through it just a little bit quick, but just make sure you write it down. Make sure you write down these root words, and so you can see, you know what I mean, so you can see it in practice when we go into the Hebrew, and also you can add it to your vocabulary as well. All right. Let's see. We go back to the Salakia. Going back and forth between the StreamYard and the Bible screen, Salakia. All right. Where were we? All right, saying. So remember, we just said speak and say are two different words. So speak is Debar, say is Amar. All right, and from what I know, so you'll see for saying it'll say Amar, right? Or for say it'll say Amar. But from what I know, also from past classes, from constantly reading Leviticus 23 during high holy days, during mainly high holy days, constantly reading Leviticus 23. I know when Moses is giving instructions, or it's like when the Most High is giving instructions, especially in Leviticus 23, the Most High is giving instructions to Moses. So you'll see the phrase Wayadabar Yahweh al-Mashah la-Amar. Right, so that to directly translate that to English, what's up? It's up to you. It's up to you. Okay, no sweat. No sweat. But that direct translation, and if you want, if it'll be helpful too, let me go back to. If it'll be helpful for you as well to remember, I would go to Leviticus 23 or just write down what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Go to Leviticus 23 and remember that phrase. Wayadabar Yahweh al Mashah la Amar. That directly translated in English is and he spoke Yahweh, which is the Most High's name. And in Hebrew, you'll see the action come before the subject. So the subject is the Most High and what he's saying, and the action is him speaking. So, and he spoke Yahweh. Al Mashah means to Moses. La Amar, meaning to say. So the English version says saying, right? The English version says saying, but the Hebrew the English translation says saying, but the Hebrew says to say. I mean, it's not too much of a difference, but it's just that subtle difference that if you forget what you already know, trying to learn something new, it's going to trip you up. All right. So again, just remember when you translate one language from to another, you might get slightly different wording. So the translation is, and he spoke the Most High to Moses to say. But in the English, the King James, the 1611 English version, it says, and the Most High spake unto Moses, saying, much very similar to what we see here. Speak unto them, saying. So instead of saying, because I know that when it says saying in Leviticus 23, it says la amar. I can expect when it says here saying, speak unto them, saying, you could look for la amar as well, to say. All right. At even, as a matter of fact, and I'm once I start and we go into Bible Hub, I'm gonna start from verse 12 since that's where we draw on our context and we draw on our sight words from. All right. At even, I can't remember what even is, but it'll jog my memory. I know morning or day is yawum or yum. Usually yum, just to avoid redundancy or confusion. Yum. Night is layala. I can't remember what even is, but we'll see in a second. All right. And then once we find out, I'll just add that to my list of root words, and then now I'll know. Right. That's the whole point of this exercise. All right. At even ye shall eat flesh. Okay. Eat, the word for eat is a call. A call. It might be a word that brothers, sisters might not be familiar with off the top of your head, but just from repetition and seeing it over and over and over again, it's just one of those words. For me, it's just one of those words that click. All right. So hey, shalom, dark side. I'm not sure you are. I'm not sure what you're trying to say with what you put in the chat. If you could just be just a little bit more clear for me, and just introduce yourself as well. You know what I mean? I know you if you want to. You know what I mean? I don't want to press you too much, but I am interested in understanding what you mean by what you put in the chat. So if you could just clarify, Baba Kashai, which means please in the Hebrew. All right. Where are we at? Let me go back to it. All right. A call is eat. For some reason, just that word. Oh, I rob. I rob. That's what it is. I rob. The water. Appreciate it. The brother's absolutely correct. I rob. It's pronounced I rob. It's the character I. The character Ra. And the character Ba. Right. In the Yiddish, it might be pronounced with the E, Arab, but again, and that's an excellent. I'm glad you brought that out because the title of the class is "Don't Forget What You Already Know." Trying to learn something new. If you let me see if I can find it online and share it to the screen. But excellent, and appreciate your participation as well. I mean, let me see if I could type this in. As a matter of fact, you got. Or go ahead, do your thing. Well, whenever you're done, I just need both my hands. Or no, actually, you good. Don't worry about it. All right, so English. What's it like? Hebrew workbook. There it is. Biblical Hebrew workbook and textbook. Let me see if I can find an image. It's a book that we use in the ISUPK, you know what I mean, that supports, that definitely supports how the Hebrew is really spoken and translated. Let me see if I can share this tab. Let me see if you can see that in that corner, right? In that right, or I'm not sure if it might be, I believe it will be your right, in that right corner, that black and white book that says Biblical Hebrew. Oh, that's the answer key. Let me see if I can find. Here it is. Let me see. Here it is. All right. Decline. Come on. All right. So this, if you got this textbook right here, Biblical Hebrew Workbook and Textbook, if you go to page 3, I believe. It's either page 3 or I believe it's page 3. But the top paragraph, it says, if you read that page right there, and this is written by Yale scholars. You know what I mean? All these names that you see on this book, Petretti, Kittle, Bonnie, Hoffner, Vicky, all these names that you see on there, these are Yale scholars. So the Yale College, you know what I mean? Your oppressor would consider it a very credible school, you know what I mean? A very credible source. And this is what the scholars are saying from Yale University. You know what I mean? You know, that's the a very prestigious school amongst our oppressor, right? Very well respected amongst our oppressor. All right, that's all good. But in this book, if you go to page 3, it says originally only the vowels were used. So the E sound in Arab, like the brother put in the chat, the E sound in Arab would be the vowel imposed version of Hebrew, which is not the authentic version of Hebrew. So if you want to say, if you want to say it correctly, you'll just take the vowels out. Now each character, the Hebrew sounds like Abba, Gada, Hawa, Zakata, Yaka, Lama, Nasa, I, Pata, Zakwa, Rashata. All of those characters I just named are used as consonants. And you'll see that also on page 3 of this book that I got on the screen. But all of those are consonants, or used as consonants in the Hebrew. But vowels like the long E sound, the long the short I sound, the long O sound, the long and short U sound, the long and short E sound, all of those sounds are vowels, and that's an indication when you hear those. When you hear shalom, when somebody says shalom, that's a clear indicator that that's the vowel imposed Hebrew. When you hear somebody say Arab instead of Irab, that's a clear indication that that's the vowel imposed Hebrew. All right. But the proper way to pronounce that would be to take out the vowels and I and pronounce it Irab. All right. So again, the resources, you know what I mean, you should have this, you know what I mean, if you're in the ISUPK dark side, you know what I mean, if you still in the chat, what zone you in, what city or state you in, if you don't mind me asking. But whatever you know what I mean, whatever city or state that you in, you should have this book in your school. And if you don't have a physical building in your zone, I would suggest you get it for yourself as well. Even if you do have a school in your zone, or a building, or a physical location in your zone, still get it for yourself. You know what I mean? Just keep it in your, keep it in your bag. You know what I mean? Every priest should have a shalom, Yahweh Shem Yahshua Barakatah. You know what I mean? Mighty warrior, mighty priest, and officer, Maishia. You know what I mean? Most High Christ, the water for joining. Make sure, and also, you know what I mean, I put the link in that Southern Ohio chat if you wanted to get on camera, you know what I mean, as well. But that's completely up to you, brother. No pressure. But yeah, as you can see on the screen, I believe it's no more than $20. You know what I mean? I believe I got mine for about $10. I got mine for about $10 on Amazon. And with shipping, I think it came up to like $20 something or like $22 or something like that. But that's not a bad price. It's not a bad price for an excellent learning utensil so that you can understand the Hebrew. All right. And then also, if you just read it or if you just go through each lesson, you can actually, it's a workbook as well as a textbook. So it'll have lessons in there. It'll show you, I believe on that same page, or I think page 4, the next page, it'll show you how the vowels were imposed. So it'll tell you that there are consonants used. Later, they started to impose vowels on our language, because we went through various captivities. And now, as you see today in modern Hebrew, your oppressor has their hand on our language. Or when you think of a Jewish man, you think of a white man with, the black hats and the little curly cues on the side, and the little yarmulkes and all of that. It's all good. There ain't no problem with you coming in and learning. I appreciate you being humble and honest as well. There ain't no problem. You're more than welcome to be up in the class and ask your questions and contribute. But what was I saying? But as you read through, those 2 pages, it'll show you how the vowels was imposed. And as when we go into a Bible Hub, you'll see these dots and dashes that was added to our language. Or as a matter of fact, to skip all that in the view larger image. There we go. You see on the cover of this book, you see the Hebrew or the Assyrian Hebrew, the modern Hebrew, and you'll see dots and dashes underneath. Oh, I might have messed up. Let me see. Oh, no, we good. But you'll see the little dots and dashes underneath and above the Hebrew characters. Those are, I forget, that system is called Dagesh. You'll see that word Dagesh in that book. In that book, when you read on, you'll see the word Dagesh. The word Dagesh refers to that dot and dash system to impose vowels. All right. So to bring it back full circle, instead of Arab, it's Irab. All right. Before I move on, Dark Side, I know I'm asking a lot of questions. How do you know you're a Hamite? Your father a Hamite, your mother? How exactly do you know you're a Hamite? I'm just checking before we just to be clear. All right. But you'll see that and it'll break it all down for you and see, it'll show you. But it'll show you how, it'll show you how okay, got you. Okay, no sweat. You from Kenya. Okay, got you. All right, no sweat. All right. But yeah, just if you look on page 4 or 5, it'll show you exactly how the guest system imposes those vowel sounds and how they used and what each dagesh and what each dash and dot combination means. All right, so I recommend brothers getting that book, getting in your school, get on that bookshelf. You know what I mean? It's a whole bunch of books on that bookshelf in your school. Ask them above you. They might have a personal bookshelf and they might be willing to lend you one of their books to be able to study for your own. Or they might, make you do it the hard way. To get it yourself. It just depends on who you're dealing with, brother. But it ain't, ain't nothing. It ain't gonna hurt to ask. Just ask and see what you can do to get your hands on these resources if you don't have the resources yourself. All right. Let me see. All right. let's go back to the scriptures, and we're gonna continue to pull out some of these what's it called, sight words. All right, where was we at? And at even, so even is I rob. Appreciate you again for putting that in the chat, jogging my memory. Even it is I rob. Ye shall eat flesh. So ye is you. I believe it'll be Anya, or not Anya. Slack, that's I. It'll be a the, or since we're talking about shall eat, so that's future tense. So there'll be some sort of future tense conjugation. We haven't gotten to those yet, but you will see a future. You may see a future tense conjugation on the word eat, or ye shall eat. All right. And eat is again a call. For some reason, a call just stuck with me. So a call, it sounds like eating. A call. I don't know. I can't really describe it, but when I hear that word, it's like it just I just relate it to eating. You know what I mean? All right. So Laki, let me go back to it. So a call, eat. Make sure you write these down. You know what I mean? These sight words. And in the morning, all right. So morning is bakwar. What did I say morning was earlier? Whatever I said morning was earlier was wrong. Yum or yawum is day. Yawum is day. I'm tripping. Bakwar is morning. All right. Bakwar is morning. So and in the morning, 9 times out of 10. So and is wa, in is ba, the is ha, morning is bakwar. But the way the Hebrew works, like the way the Hebrew works the same way we speak English. So we don't use too many words. So instead of saying wa baha bakwar, we'll say, you'll see the word, I guarantee you're going to see babakwar in morning. Babakwar in morning, because this is a militant and straightforward language. So instead of saying wa ba ha bakwar, you'll see babakwar. Or you might say wa ba bakwar, and in morning. Ye shall be filled with bread. Can't remember the word for with. All right, but bread is lachum. All right, and ye shall know. Know is yadai. So ye shall know. Again, shall is an indication of future tense. So I believe it'll be tha yadai tha. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I believe that is the conjugation for ye shall know. So know is the root word, yadai, and then because it's future tense, you put the tha at the beginning. So tha yadai tha. I believe. I could be wrong, but we're gonna find out in a second. All right, and ye shall know that I am the Lord your God. So I am is, I believe, Haya, which is am or be, right? The Lord, when you see the Lord, especially with all caps, and it's the Most High talking, you might see his name, Yahweh. So I am Yahweh, your God, right? So to be Yahweh Alahaya, right? So Allah will be be how you say God, power, messenger, authority, and then the Hayal means be, which means he's a living power, right? That's why the angels are called Alahayim, because they are living powers under the Most High power. And then the Yah at the end just said, or is to say, you, wait, let me see. Ka, Salakia, Alahaya Ka. Alahaya Ka, right? The Ka at the end is to say you or your, I believe. Right? So it'll say, Anya Yahweh Alahaya Ka. 9 times out of 10. All right. Now, again, I'm just using what I already know to try to, prepare for what I'm about to see. And with that, we're going to go back to Exodus 16 and verse 12 in the Hebrew. All right. All right. We're going to go to Exodus chapter 16 and verse 12. Bear with me. All right, Salakia, and forgive me for all the delays and the, things like that. I'm in the hospital right now, so just bear with me. We still gonna put this work in. All right, all right. So again, we gonna go ahead and now that we just went through the first verse. So let me see what time it is, real quick. But now that we just went through the first verse, we just went through the first verse in the English. Salakia. All right. Now that we just went over to A Shalom, Yahaba Hashem, Yahushua Barakatah, the troopers of Karwan. I see you, brother. Salaki, I meant to shout you out earlier. I don't know if you're still in the chat, but just to reiterate, what we doing in the class right now, if you want to participate or whatever the case is, if you wanted to participate, the title of the class is Don't Forget What You Know, Trying to Learn Something New. So what we just did was read the Lashawan, or we just read the verse, Exodus 16 and verse 12 in the English. And as you can see on the screen, the goal or the exercise that we just went over is reading the scriptures in the English and trying to pick out as many sight words as we possibly could to translate into Hebrew. And then now, after we just went over Salakia. We just picked out as many sight words as we could find in the English to translate into Hebrew. And now that we've done that, we're going to go back to Bible Hub in the same book, chapter, and verse, and translate it, or see how close we were able to get with those translations. And to you, Dark Side, I appreciate your concern. I'm fine. I'm fine. I just had a child, so Most High Christ for that. So that's why I'm in the hospital right now. But again, Thawada, which means thank you, Thawada, for your concern. Where are we at? Where are you at? But yeah, Trooper Zakarwan, you know what I mean? Just hit me with a, you know what I mean? Hit me with a one to just let me know you still in the chat. Otherwise, you know what I mean? It's all right. You know what I mean? It's an excellent brother, super diligent, and congratulations again for becoming a trooper. You know what I mean? All right, so we just gonna go through Exodus 16 and 12 to see how much of our translation was accurate. All right. So let me, as a matter of fact, let me share this tab instead. Let me know if y'all can see that. You should be able to see it real clear. Should be able to see it real clear. All right, so I'm gonna read it through. I'm gonna read it straight through. What is this? Okay, got you. I don't know why I didn't. Okay, Shamathia, and again, you know what I mean. I'm gonna read through this, and there's a couple of sight words I'm seeing off the top that I didn't say. You know what I mean? I didn't say during the initial breakdown. So first of all, Salakia, and you know what I mean, I'm kicking myself just seeing these sight words because it's words that I know off the top of my head. I know them, but I reading it in the English, it just didn't pop out until I saw it in the Hebrew. All right, so I'm gonna read through. Shamathia Ath Thalawanath Banya. There's another one. Okay, well, actually, no, we're gonna talk about that in a second. All right, Salaki. I'm gonna read it through, and then we're gonna break it down phrase by phrase. All right. So Shamathia Ath Thalawanath Banya Yasharala Dabar Alahayim Alham La'amar Bayan Ha'irabyim the Kalwa Bashar Wa Babakwar Fashabaywa Lachum Wayadai Thum Kaya Anya Yahweh Allahayakum. All right. Let me see if I can get all this on there. All right. So this is what I was talking about earlier, right? So let me see. All right. So so this is what I was talking about earlier. So this is one of the sight words that I saw when I looked at the Hebrew, and I was just like, why didn't I think of this? But one of the reasons why I didn't think of it is because the English, I know Shammai means to hear or to listen. Most commonly, we use it to say listen. All right. So if you hear, if it's a big gathering, you hear, you know what I mean, a high-ranking officer, a captain, a general, to say Shammai, that means to listen. Right, but it also means to hear. All right, so Shammai right here, the first phrase, that's the root word. Shammai means to hear or to listen. All right. The ya, I believe it's past tense. The ya is a past tense conjugation to say I have heard. So Anya Shammai the ya. Right, will be the conjugation. So Anya would be the formal way to say I, right? But because we're in the middle of the verse, we're in the middle of the chapter rather. 9 times out of 10, we probably seen Anya earlier in the verse. So who's talking has already been established. So you're not going to always see Anya over and over and over again. After the subject and who's talking and the point of view has been established, then you won't see that over and over again. because again, this is a militant and direct to the point language. So you'll see over and over how redundancies and things that might cause confusion are omitted out of the language. All right. So Shammai is just a conjugation, a past tense conjugation of the root word Shammai. So to say I heard, to say hear or heard, or to say hear is Shammai. To say I have heard is Anya Shamaitaya. All right. Ath is a word or phrase that's used to connect one thing to another. What's being heard? The complaints. All right, which is thala. I believe it's. Let me see. I'm trying to guess. I'm trying to use what I know to learn something new. All right. So thala wanath. So I know the wall might be the wall might drop off. The tha at the end might drop off, so it might just leave thalan or talawan. But that's just my guess based on what I already know. So with that being said, let's see what this is. And the wa is the doing tense or ing. So that's why I said the wa in the middle might drop off. All right. And then the tha is to say categories or pluralization, right? Which is a variation or categories is just a variation of plural, right? But let's see if I was right. All right, we'll click on the concordance code and let's see what we got. Talawana. All right, talawana. So it's the whole thing. Talawana. That's complaint, murmuring. 9 times out of 10 is built off of a smaller word. Let me see if it'll show. I don't see it. I don't see where it says its origin is from a smaller word. It might be though. I don't want to speculate because I don't know for sure. So for now, we're just gonna go off of what's here and just say the word for complaint or murmuring is talawana. All right. All right. And just to go back to the original lesson, you know what I mean, what you always want to remember while reading the Lashawan Qadash is most phrases are made up of 4 steps, a combination of one of these, 1, 2, 3, or all 4 of these steps. And any of them could be duplicates as well. And the first is you're going to have a preposition. You might have a possessive as well. You might have a root word, and you might have a tense attached to it. And all 4 of those things make up any Hebrew phrase. All right. So that's how I was able to make that guess. I was wrong, of course, but I mean, and that's another thing too. You always, after you, you know what I mean, it's good to give those types of things a try because that also helps you be able to, you know what I mean, it'll just help you, you know what I mean, be able to not only use common sense when you read in the Lashawan Qadash, but be able to help you be able to form phrases and sentences as far as like writing or speaking the Lashawan Qadash. All right. But also, when you do those types of exercises, like what I just did with trying to figure out what the raw root word was of this third phrase we just read, you always want to check yourself. You never want to guess and then just leave it at that and assume you're right. You can guess. You know what I mean? You could take a guess like we did before just as an exercise, but then always check yourself. All right. All right. So the next phrase, banya. This is a word that we should all be familiar with. Good night. Bun is a root word that means, let me close these extra tabs. Bun is a root word that means son. Ya is a possessive at the end that means me or my. right? Or it means me or my, or depending on how it's used, like if it's at the end of the name of like a nation or a landmass, because landmasses can be named after nations or people, right? You got the name Africa is named after the Italian colonizer Leo Scipio Africanus, right? America is named after another Italian named Amerigo Vespucci. Uh, there's a nation Moab, and there's a nation Moab named after a man named Moab, and then there's a land called the Plains of Moab, which is why when you read the Book of Ruth, fake Israelites, you know what I mean, think that Ruth was a Moabite. You know what I mean, which is what they try to use to try to usher in all these other nations. Like the Most High always dealt with all these other nations when the Most High says that He hasn't dealt so with any nation. I mean, when Amos, I believe Amos, the third chapter, I believe it says, "You only have I known among all the nations of the earth." I mean, but that confusion comes from them not understanding the difference between a nation and a landmass named after a nation. But the point being, that Yah at the end can mean either me or my, or it could just be used at the end of like a landmass or a person, or just a phrase like you see here, just to denote ownership. All right. So Banya means my sons. Who are the Lord's sons? Who are the sons of the Most High? Israel. Yasharallah. Right? Yasharallah. That's how you say Israel in the Hebrew. All right. Speak, Dabar, which is what we said. That was correct. Dabar is speak. All right. We're gonna go ahead and read on. Speak, Alhum. This is the word I couldn't think of before. For them. So all is a root word that we talked about. Salakia. We talked about in Leviticus 23 in that phrase, Wayadabar al Mashallah Amar, or Wayadabar Yahweh al Mashallah Amar. That all means two. All means two. What I got highlighted on the screen, make sure you can see it. But all means two. Ah and La next to each other when it doesn't mean power, messenger, or authority, or God. It means two. All. Hum. This root word right here, hum, a ha and a ma next to each other. That's the root word for them. They or them. All right. And this is I'm gonna just use this as an example as well. What I just talked about a second ago, where each phrase is made up of 4 steps: preposition, possessive, root word, tense. And it doesn't have to be it can be just one of these concepts. It could be a combination of 2. It could be a duplicate. It could be a duplicate of 1 concept or 2 concepts. It could be 3, and it could be all 4. It could be a mixture of it could be any combination. You know what I mean? It could be 2 prepositions and a root word. It could be 2 root words. It could be 2 prepositions. It could be a preposition and a possessive. Depends on, you know what I mean, what's trying to be said and what's trying to be communicated. But this is a perfect example, because what you see here, this is just 2 root words. All is a root word to me. 2. Hum is a root word to me. Them. All hum. Right? So the bar al hum la amar. This is what I was talking about earlier. So the English said saying. You see it down here in the red, saying. But the direct translation of the Hebrew is la amar, which is to say. La means to, is a preposition that means to. Amar means say. So la amar means to say. All right. But to translate it into what was modern English back in 1611, which isn't so modern now, but to translate it to what was modern English then, it's saying. It doesn't take away from the meaning of the of what's being said. You know what I mean? It's just to make the Hebrew translation better fit how English was spoken in 1611, right? Which is why, you know what I mean, sidebar, which is why the King James Version 1611 is the most accurate word for word translation of the Bible. You know what I mean, where these other translations, they translate what you know what I mean, these Christians and these Baptists and these, you know what I mean, things like that think the Bible means, and then translate what they think it means into modern English, which is inaccurate. This is just a word for word translation, and then they just word it in a way that's after translated word for word, they just word it in a way that fits modern English. That's not what the other translations do though. They take their misunderstanding of the 1611 way to speak English, and they take their misinterpretation from that and write down their misinterpretation in these new translations, right? But we'll go ahead. So Bayan, let me see how this is used. So, because Bayan can mean a lot of different things. Between, okay, got you. Between. Let's see. Sorry, my laptop's tripping. Bayan means between. Salakia. Just waiting for my laptop to settle down. All right. Ha Irab Yum. All right. So this is what was put in the chat. Irab is, what's it called? Irab is evening. All right. You see these dots and dashes we was talking about? That's the vowel imposed. Let me see if it says Arab like the brothers, or not the brother, like you said in the chat. Arab. Let me see. Forgive me, my laptop gonna start tripping. It's gonna start bugging out. For some reason, every time I click on a concordance code or go to a different, right? So that's why it says here Arab in the translation. Concordance code. Good night. Concordance code 6153 Arab. That's why it says that like that. Let me go back. It's starting to bug out because of those dots and dashes underneath the word or underneath the phrase. All right. But the proper translation is I rob. And the reason why we know it's I rob, because of what I just showed you in that Hebrew to English, or the biblical Hebrew workbook and textbook. All right. Again, if you don't have it or you don't have access to it, I recommend you just get on Amazon and just order it for yourself. Just order it. It won't hurt. You know what I mean? It's not expensive. You know what I mean? I'm sure, you know what I mean? I mean, a bottle of, I don't know what brothers be drinking, you know what I mean? A little fifth of tequila, you know what I mean? Costs $20. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? A night out, we're getting a burger and fries and a brew. I don't know what brothers do in their free time, but I mean, we spend $20. Long story short, we spend $20 on less important things. You know what I mean? We could make that sacrifice. Just spend that $20 instead of, you know what I mean, getting that burger and fries and that beer or whatever the case is. Or instead of going to get that little bottle, spend that $20 and get something that's going to help you in the work of the Lord in your career and as a priest and officer in the ISUPK. You know what I mean? Or an aspiring priest and officer at the ISUPK. All right. And you know what I mean? Who knows? You might get a deal. You might come up on a deal. Again, I think I got mine. I bought 2 of them. I bought 2 of those books. The first time I bought it, I believe it was about, I think it was like $12. I think it was like $12. And I either lost it or I donated it to the school or something. I forget what happened to it. But I bought it again. And the one that I bought originally, another copy wasn't available. So instead of spending $12 on it, I think it was like closer to like 20. I think it was like 19, 18, 19 and some change. But either way, $12 or $20, you know what I mean? It wasn't bad. But if you get on it, you know what I mean? If you follow these instructions, you might find yourself a little deal. And now you got the resources, and then you have, who knows, you might be able to go get that burger, fries, and that beer. You know what I mean? Or whatever you know what I mean, whatever brothers is into. All right. But let's see. All right, so ha, I rob yum. So we got the root word. Root word is even. All right. Is evening or twilight. You know what I mean? Same thing. Evening. All right. I rob is the root word. So now we got the ha at the beginning, which means the. Ha, I rob, the evening. And then yum is plural. So evenings. And this is the Most High reassuring, because he's hearing the murmuring. You know what I mean? After the Most High delivered us out of this captivity from the Egyptians. You know what I mean? After the Most High delivered us from the captivity of these Egyptians, we'd have seen 10 plagues. We'd have seen these miracles. We'd have seen the Egyptian captivity that they were living in. We'd have seen their empire fall. You know what I mean? Through all these miracles. And then as he's escorting, as we're leaving Egypt, you know what I mean? They giving us all these riches and they pushing us out of the country. You know what I mean? And as their army is chasing us, you know what I mean? Because they, you know what I mean? Pharaoh's heart was hardened against the children of Israel and the Most High. You know what I mean? So as they're following us out into the wilderness, the Most High is escorting the children of Israel with a pillar of fire, I believe, by night, and a whirlwind, or like a pillar of I forget what it was, like a pillar of wind or something. I forget how it was worded. But they were escorted out of the you know what I mean? They were escorted out of, or through the wilderness, out of the land of Egypt with, you know what I mean, pillars of fire and pillars, you know what I mean, with storms, you know what I mean, to protect them and to guide them, you know what I mean, through the darkness. And even through all of that, you know what I mean, the children of Israel murmuring against the Most High, murmuring against Moses and Aaron, who the Most High gave them instead of a God. You know what I mean? Murmuring like, oh, the Most High brought us out here so he could starve us to death. He brought us out of captivity in Egypt so he could starve us. You know what I mean? We in the wilderness fantasizing and fantasizing and reminiscing about our captivity. You know what I mean? And just a sidebar, it's likely to get too far off topic, but just remember, you know what I mean, as you saw Egypt falling, you see in America fall in the exact same way, like it was prophesied in these scriptures, where the Most High said that he's no longer going to be known for the God that took the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt, but he's going to be known for the God that delivered his children out of the land of the north. That's North America, which is spiritual Egypt and spiritual Babylon. You know what I mean? The whore that sits upon many waters. You know what I mean? But that's going to happen here in America. And we reading these stories. And what you got, like we was talking about earlier, you got to remember that these are you. These people that you see in these scriptures, you know what I mean? These priests, these prophets, you know what I mean? This multitude that was led out of the wilderness, you know what I mean? These Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans that was led out of the wilderness and the captivity, or it's like led out of the captivity of Egypt, those are us. So we like to think, like, you know what I mean, Christian would like to read this Bible and be like, oh, these people was murmuring. They so evil. They so wicked for murmuring against the Lord. Yeah, they was evil and wicked for murmuring against the Lord after seeing all those miracles being done. But you got to remember that was you, Black man, Hispanic man, and Native American man. You know what I mean? That was absolutely you. And when the Most High delivers, you know what I mean, when the Most High delivers the children of Israel, Salakia, good night. Oh my God. When the Salakia, when the Most High, just saw some BS. It's like it. As I share the class, make sure you, if you haven't already, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the channel as well. I'm doing the same as we speak. Share now, share your story, boom, share. All right, cool. But remember, you know what I mean. At the Most High is going, you know what I mean, do this exact same thing that he did in Egypt in America, and as he's doing that, just remember these were you. You know what I mean. So the people that was murmuring and coming out of Egypt, it could be the same people. You know what I mean, be the same people that may murmur against the Most High after we delivered out of this hell. You know what I mean? Right now, you see ICE hunting down Hispanics and Native Americans and harassing the hell out of them. And this was their land. You know what I mean? Before they stole the land. Now they call them illegal immigrants. You know what I mean? And don't think that it's not going to trickle down to blacks or so-called African Americans as well. You know what I mean? Where we did, you know, we already know that this is our hell here. Or we, you know what I mean, we've been in captivity and we've been destroyed by this nation that still don't give a damn about us to this day. But you know what I mean, once we get delivered out of these things that I just mentioned a second ago, you know what I mean, it could be you, that same person that's begging for freedom and begging for relief from this captivity. You could be the same person murmuring. You know what I mean? That's why it's important to remember again that these are your records and you are the people that this is talking about. You know what I mean? Slacky, where are we at? All right, so Ha I Rab Yum is the evenings. And this is the Most High reassuring these people, just to reiterate, this is the Most High reassuring these people that in these every morning and every evening, you know what I mean, you're going to be taken care of and you're going to be filled with bread. And you're going to eat. You know what I mean? You're not going to, the Most High hear you complaining, and he's going to reassure you that he didn't bring you out. You know what I mean? He didn't bring you out all the way into the wilderness for you to be a laughingstock. That the Most High, you know what I mean, brought you out of captivity, brought you from dying in captivity to now you're going to die in the wilderness. That's not the Most High God that we serve. We serve a living power that doesn't forget his people and is not mocked. All right? But that's what's happening right here. The Most High is reassuring his people. So every morning and every evening, you're gonna eat. That's what he's saying. So next phrase, tha akal wa. Remember that root word is akal. Akal means eat. Again, don't ask me how akal just clicked in my mind to mean eat, but it was just one of those root words that just stuck to me. But that's that root word. Akal means eat. All right. Akal means eat. So tha akal wa. Tha means thou or thee or you as a preposition. I mean, thou or thee, again, thou or thee is just a 1611 English translation. But the modern English translation will be you. You know what I mean? So tha means you, akal means eat. Wa at the end of a root word means it. He, his, or it. All right. So tha akal wa means you eat it. Right? You eat it. That's the direct translation. That's the direct word for word from Hebrew to English translation. But again, to put it in 1611 or modern English terms, you shall eat. Or to modernize it, you will eat. Shall just means will. All right. Bashar, we're going to try to move along because we're running out of time. Bashar is meat. Right? You get from an animal. Wa ba bakwar, right? This is what I was talking about earlier. Wa means and, ba means in, bakwar means morning. All right. And in the morning. Now you notice that the isn't there. Again, this is what I was talking about earlier. Certain words, just to avoid redundancy or just to get straight to the point, some things just drop off. So instead of saying and in the morning, wa ba ha bakwar is wa ba bakwar. All right. Thashabaiwa. Shabai. Okay. I want to talk about this. Shabai. You might recognize from the numbers. from the cardinal numbers, right? Shabbai means 7, right? The word Shabbai, and you might want to write this down in your notes as well. The word Shabbai is also used to mean enough, or to fill, to its fill. Like to have your fill means to have enough, right? And that's what you see here, how it's being used. So the word Shabbai, that's why when you read in I can't remember where it's at. I think it might be in Matthew the 15th chapter, where one of the apostles asked Christ, "How often shall I forgive my brother? Until 7 times?" And Christ respond, I say not 7 times, but 70 times 7. Right? He's basically saying, that's basically he's saying until enough is enough. You know what I mean? Enough is keep forgiving. Basically, he's saying keep forgiving your brother. You know what I mean? The apostle is asking how many times is enough times. You know what I mean? But that word 7 also can be used to mean enough or to fill, right? Right. So Christ, of course, we're not a literal people. So when Christ says 70 times 7, he's not, I don't know what 70 times 7 is, but he's not talking about, I think it's like 450 something or 450. He's not talking about forgive your brother, literally count on your fingers 450 times to, you know what I mean, to forgive your brother. He's saying forgive your brother, you know what I mean, more than enough. He's saying not don't forgive him enough. Don't forgive him until you think it's enough. Forgive your brother, you know what I mean, plenty. Keep forgiving your brother 70 times 7. Till enough is enough is enough is enough is enough. Which means keep forgiving your brother. You know what I mean? Because we always got enough. You know what I mean? Your brother stepped on your shoe one time and you know we damn near had enough. That's enough right there. That's enough for you to go upside your brother's head. You know what I mean? Your wife talked to you a little crazy once or twice, and you done had enough is enough. You ready to throw her in the trash. You know what I mean? But that's not what this is talking about. It's not talking about, you know what I mean, when you've had enough. It's talking about keep forgiving your brother. That's what that 70 times 7 means. But just to reiterate, Salakia, not to get off topic again, but when you see Shabbai, typically it means 7. Typically it means 7, but also when you see Shabbai, it also means enough or to be filled, right? So ta Shabbai wa. So you fill it, right? Lakam is bread, like we talked about earlier. Waya dai thumb. Yadai means no. Wayadai means and no. Thumb is them. Let me think. It's either them or y'all. Or them. Thumb, them. Wayadai thumb. And know them, and they shall know. Kaya, that. Kaya means that. Anya, I, right? Like we talked about earlier. I told you it was going to be here. Anya, Yahweh. Yahweh is the Most High's name. Allahayakum. Allahaya means a living power. Allah meaning God or power. Haya means be or to live or to exist. Allahaya, and then kum is the suffix that means y'all. So and they shall know that I am Yahweh, y'all's God. See, this is how the Most High talk. You know what I mean? Your Christian pastors or your you know what I mean, your oppressor want to look down on you like you are a barbarian because we say y'all. You know what I mean? We don't speak that English as good night. No, squeaky clean. I saw God Logic. Oh my God, get embarrassed by Captain Tazariot. But you know what I mean. You gotta, I'm trying to decide whether I even want to. I hope you're smarter than the real. Okay, look at you. Okay, all right. Okay, here you go. All right. Well, you would have to, you're more than welcome to. If you feel like you're smarter than, because you're obviously you mean by being smarter than the rest, leaving the ISUPK, right? I just want to be clear before I address your comment. So I would be being smarter than the rest by leaving the ISUPK and doing what exactly? Should I be doing what you're doing? What are you doing? Just help me out, all right? I mean, I appreciate your comment as well. You know what I mean? Make sure you like, share, subscribe, put your comments and all of that. I mean, I appreciate your participation. I just want to understand. So for me to be smarter than the rest, right? You want me to be smarter than the rest of these brothers and the sisters in the ISUPK that believe what the ISUPK believe? No sweat. Well, help me out there. You know what I mean? Don't just give me a problem without a solution. What should I be doing? Or what are you doing, rather? Just let me know so I can be smarter than the rest. I just want to. All right. I'll wait for you to comment. All right. But just to reiterate, you know what I mean? Back to the Hebrew. This is how the Most High speak. You know what I mean? This is literally this is what the Most High is saying, word for word, out of the scriptures in the Hebrew. And he's saying that I, Yahweh, he said his name, I, Yahweh, and you shall know that I, Yahweh, am y'all's God. That's how the Most High talk. The Most High say y'all. So if you think that that you know what I mean, you ghetto or you less intelligent or you whatever your person want to call it when you say things like y'all or you say things like finna or when you say, you know what I'm saying, or now I'm talking about, you know what I mean, for my brothers and sisters in, you know what I mean, in Texas, you say certain things like that, just know that that's how the Most High talk. And we seeing it right here. All right. We see what Squeaky Clean got. You got to watch those who are wiser than us to gain intelligence, Follow Christ and drop the Israelite claim and you'll be okay, homie. The Lord is called many different names. Like what? Okay. It's funny that you named all those things because all of those things is in this verse that I just talked about. The name of the Israel is in this. The name of Israel, the people that this Bible is talking about, is in this verse that we just named. So first of all, second of all, the Lord is called many different names. I'm curious to hear the many different names that you're referring to. And I hope you're not confusing names with titles. But his name is right here as well. He said, I, Yahweh. So he's saying his name. He's saying his own name right here. It says, I, Yahweh. This isn't Moses calling. This isn't Moses calling the Most High Yahweh. This is the Most High Yahweh calling himself Yahweh. It says that I, Yahweh, your God, y'all's God. So you saying you calling him a name outside the Bible is blasphemous, bro. The only thing I called him was Yahweh because it's right here in the scriptures. I don't know if you read it, and maybe, you know what I mean, because you said what you said at first was very important. And I don't mean to insult you. I mean to educate you and help you, brother. What you said, you got to watch those who are wiser than us to gain intelligence. Well, you should watch and listen because you're sitting here trying to chastise me. I haven't called the Most High any name outside what's in the Bible. It says Yahweh right here. I don't know if you can see the screen, but it says Yahweh right here. And that's what he's calling himself. So because he called himself Yahweh, you know what I mean? When it's appropriate, I'll call him Yahweh. You know what I mean? The one true living God of the Israelites and no other nation. But for you to be chastising me for doing something that I didn't do, good night. See, for you to be chastising me for doing something that I didn't do and then followed up by saying Jesus is Lord. You know what I mean? Are you saying that Jesus is the Most High God? But for you to be doing that, maybe you should just stop and listen to the men that are wiser than you. I can guarantee just by this conversation right here and everything that I just proved with facts and evidence and documentation, it's on the screen. All the evidence is on the screen. But for you to say all those things that you just said, I can guarantee that I'm wiser than you. And it's because I follow the men above me like Captain Tazariak, and I stay away from nutcases like God Logic, you know what I mean? Things like that. And the Polites who get found out to be sexual deviants every time. And the guerrilla Hebrews that find out to be found to be sexual deviants every single time. And the IUICs that get found out to be sexual deviants every single time. And the Eddie Longs and the what's it called? What's the damn dude name? The Marvin Saps. They get found out to be liars and snakes and sexual deviants every single time. You know what I mean? That's why I'm wiser than you, because I follow men like Captain Tazariak. I follow men like General Muhammad. I follow men like Commander General Yohana, who are far wiser than you. You know what I mean? That's why I'm wiser than you. All right. So, brother, you know what I mean? I would love to meet you. You know what I mean? We got the Passover coming up April 12th in Atlanta. You know what I mean? It would be nice. You know what I mean? I would love to meet you. You know what I mean? I'd love to meet you, and we can have this conversation in person. You know what I mean? Get to know each other. Have a drink. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? We could decide whether we could talk about whether these brothers are deceivers or whatever the case is. You know what I mean? We could talk about that. We could talk about that over, you know what I mean, a glass of scotch. I don't know if you drink, you know what I mean, but get a glass of scotch, a fine glass of scotch, that $200 bottle of La Frog. You know what I mean? Get some of that good old Passover wine and lamb, and we could discuss it. You know what I mean? Right now I'm in Ohio, you know what I mean? But I'll be going back. I'm in my hometown, Ohio, Cincinnati, Ohio. I'll be going back to Killeen, Texas, where I live after the Passover. But I can guarantee you I will be in Atlanta, Georgia between the 8th and the 13th for the Lord's 55th, I believe, annual Passover in Atlanta, Georgia. So, you know what I mean? You want to link up and have this conversation then, you know what I mean? I'm bet, you know what I mean? So that you're not that far, you closer to Georgia than I am. So, you know what I mean? If you really want to have this conversation, or you know what I mean? Or we don't gotta have this conversation. You know what I mean? Let's just have a glass of, you know what I mean, have a glass of wine, have a plate of lamb, you know what I mean? Get to know one another. We go, and then we could, you know what I mean, after we get to know one another, because I don't know you and you don't know me. You know what I mean? So if you feel like you wiser than me, you might be able to teach me something. Or, you know what I mean, you might find that, hell, maybe I'll be able to teach you something. I don't know. But let's have that glass of wine. Let's get that lamb at the Lord's 55th. It's like 55th annual Passover in Atlanta, Georgia. All right. With that. Now, I know you're not trying to disrespect me. I know you're trying to, you know what I mean? I know you trying to enlighten me. I know you're trying to give me some information and drop some game. I understand. It's all good. I don't feel disrespected at all. You know what I mean? Let's just have this glass of wine and, you know what I mean? We'll chop it up. Get to know each other. You know what I mean? But I don't feel no disrespect, and I pray you don't feel no disrespect either. Yeah, I know. I just said that. I know you're trying to drop some gems, but it's all good. Let's talk about it over this plate of lamb and this wine. All right. With that, you know what I mean, like, share, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you share it with your relatives and your family, whether you agree or not. You know what I mean? Make sure you share it anyway, and we can all have this conversation. You know what I mean? Lord willing, I pray brothers is prepared for the Passover to do the traveling. You know what I mean? Make this sacrifice to remember exactly what we just read in Exodus. You know what I mean? Remember how the Most High delivered us out of the captivity of Egypt, and how he's going to do that exact same thing in America. You know what I mean? So I pray that brothers is ready to come through. You know what I mean? It'd be good to see y'all here coming up in the next couple weeks. Make sure you like, share, subscribe to the channel. The water for all y'all comments. We're about to close the class out now. Make sure, you know what I mean? But if you're not watching this live, or, you know what I mean, you got any questions or comments, or brother Squeaky Clean, you know what I mean? If you want to continue this conversation as well, because we're about to close the class, but there's a QR code in that top, I believe it'll be your right, that top right corner. You know what I mean? You could hit that QR code, you know what I mean? And morning, noon, and night, it'll be a brother in that chat And I agree. To understand the scriptures better, we got to be better readers. I know, because the truth is right there in the scriptures. But the problem is exactly what you just said. We don't read. So we believe the Christian dogma that our Christian pastors have been teaching. And you should know that they liars, because the same tie are the same people that are molesting those children in those churches, are the same people that are, making our strongmen homeless or LGBTQ members in those churches. So I would be careful who you follow and what doctrine you follow. That should tell you something. The same people that do those diabolical things got the same doctrine that you believe. So I just want to caution you, brother, squeaky clean. I hope you're a brother, but I just want to caution you. You should be careful of believing the same exact doctrine that child abusers and LGBTQ members believe. That would be my advice to you. All right. But again, if you want to continue this conversation, you can hit that QR code in that top right corner. And morning, noon, and night, there will be a brother in there to answer all your questions and solve all your problems. You know what I mean? With that, I'm gonna say shalom, Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushua Barakatham to all the brothers, and shalom, Yahweh Shamar Lathan Ba'Hashem Yahushua to all the sisters.